What's up, guys? Happy New Year. Kicking it off with a bang. Welcome to the first newsletter, Franchise Empire newsletter of 2025. So let's talk about and dive into what we're going to dive into, which we got a good one. So today we're going to talk about an outdoor franchise that shows $8.5 million in sales in their FDD, which is pretty epic. We'll talk about a resale that has had a price reduction on something showing $660,000 in revenue. Check out a day in the life of a franchisee who's crushing it, and a seven-figure franchise opportunity for 2025. So let's go ahead and dive in. If this is your first time watching and you're brand new to the channel, number one, subscribe so you can make sure to see any of the other content and videos we put out. We do this live stream once a week for our newsletter and also put out a ton of other business, franchise, money related content. So yes, subscribe. And for those of you who are watching live, drop a comment. Let me know that you're watching live. And if you're watching the replay, type in replay and let me know that you're watching the replay. I'm always really curious kind of when the views are happening overall. And if you do not get this in your inbox on Sundays, because this was released on Sunday and then we don't stream until Wednesday, then go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter. You can see it scrolling at the bottom, and you can make sure to get this in your inbox for free every Sunday. All right, so let's dive in. I'm going to speed through this one today as much as possible. So maybe not. We'll see. This resale is a company called 5-Star Painting. I'm going to make this smaller so we can see it. 5-Star Painting. And what do you think they do? They do painting, residential and commercial, interior, exterior. They are a Neighborly brand. Neighborly is the largest home services franchisor in the United States, if not the world. And the 5-Star has been franchising since 2007. They have 230 units. Just a really solid brand overall. We've had a couple of clients buy, and actually a guy that I'm going to show you where it's like a day in the life of his business. He owns a 5-Star franchising, and we did a really cool video with him. So anyways, this one's in Sarasota, Florida. It opened July 2018. So this has been in business now for 6.5 years. The asking price is $199,000, 2023 revenue of $660,000. In order to get the updated revenue numbers, you're going to need to fill out an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, as well as in order to find out cash flow. So if you do want to learn more about this specific resale, then you'll go to franchiseempire.com/resales, which is at the bottom of the screen. You'll be able to see that right there. That's going to take you to a page where you're going to be asked to enter your information. You can see that. You'll click Get Started for free. You'll enter your info. You will need to qualify, right? You need to have access to money and capital, not the whole $200,000, depending upon if you can get it financed. Anyways, go fill out your info. You'll then set up a meeting with our team, who will then be able to begin the process with you to get you introduced to the seller, completing an NDA, etc. So again, this business, they work with residential and commercial. This specific one for sale, they have 2 employees, and there's also, and it says employees, by the way, it doesn't say contractors. Whether that is accurate or not sure. It could be contractors, but they have 2 people that are working for the business. There is an opportunity to increase marketing and obtain more customers in sizable territory. And basically, the owners have 3 other businesses. So these people are trying to sell, and all reasonable offers will be considered. I have a story to tell you about this business and about someone else who had owned this business in a different market. So stay tuned for that. I think you'll find it interesting. So what's our take? This resale's been on the market for several months, and it just had a price reduction. So 5-Star is a solid brand within the Neighborly umbrella, and according to their most recent FDD, that we have access to, it shows that their average job size is about $4,400. So you could pretty much do the math at that point in terms of how many jobs they're doing and then how many jobs it would take to increase the growth and sales of the business. The business model typically uses subcontractors to do the actual painting jobs, which can keep your overhead and salaried labor low, which means here's the benefit of that. You have a salaried employee. Let's say you're paying them 60 grand a year, right? 5 grand a month. Well, whether you have jobs or not, you're paying them the 5 grand a month. With subcontractors, you're only paying them per job. It's like either it's usually a percentage of the job, right, that they're getting paid for the labor. So it helps with cash flow and everything. But obviously, once you get to a certain point where you're busy enough, where you have enough volume, having in-house employees is ideal because like you can keep them busy all the time, so it doesn't matter. But that's the cool thing about this sort of business. You can start out with the lower overhead. Anyways, if interested in this resale, we suggest understanding the current employees' roles in the business and how many subcontractors the business has in rotation to utilize. Lastly, Sarasota is a fast-growing area with a lot of potential, and seems like an opportunity to get into a turnkey home services franchise and grow it quickly. So let's talk about a manual which will tie in. Everything's connected in this newsletter, which I think you'll find interesting. It made it easier to put it together, but the stories all align and they connect, right? Because we're talking about 5-star painting. So let's talk about a manual. A manual worked as a service advisor in luxury car dealerships. He had some side hustles, but not enough to provide the full-time income he was looking for. And so there's actually a longer story behind this. So originally he joined our zero to profitable franchise acquisition system and was going to buy a franchise with his brother. This was like a couple of years ago that I first took a call with his brother, Eli. And this was, I don't know, 2.5 years ago when I did pretty much almost everything in this business. And I had that kind of initial call with Eli. And he was like, all right, well, let me think about it. I got to talk to my brother. I got this business partner. I did a call with Emmanuel. And then a lot of time had passed in between that. And then Emmanuel wound up reaching out and back out, I don't know, a little bit over a year ago now, and said, hey, I want to move forward with finding a franchise for myself. Can you still help? And we're like, yep, we can. So what happened was our team actually came across a turnaround resale for pretty cheap, where 2 previous franchisees had not done well in that territory. So, talk about, this resale, right? Where these owners have 3 other businesses. Part of why this territory that this resale that Emmanuel bought was because the owners, at least the most recent owner that sold him the business, that owner had another business and just, had thought he could put in as little effort as possible and achieve great results. Of course, that didn't happen. So the business was struggling. And Emmanuel came in, again, got it just dirt cheap. And you can watch the video because he says in the video, I can't say how much sales he's making. I can't make that claim if it's not listed in the FDD. But, if he's sharing it, that's different. He can share whatever he wants to share, right? So he does share that in a video that we made together, like what he's kind of grown the business into. I can tell you that he's just over a year in and he's doing phenomenal. And, again, it really, to maximize results, it takes 3 years, to really get the business to a point of maturity. And the analogy I use is for any of you who have kids, like if you're after 1 year, your kid, you're like, what the hell, man? They're barely walking. They're not talking yet. They're not eating the same food. It's like, well, yeah, your kid's just 1 year old, man. Like, be patient. Give it a couple years. Same thing with a business. I get it. Everyone wants the result now. That's not life. And that's the mentality, that shiny object, quick fix mindset and energy is what will keep you not getting the results and jumping from thing to thing to thing, never actually seeing anything through to see the success with it. But if you go in and go, hey, I'm focused on what this can produce starting in year 3 to 5, it's going to work out better for you. I know because I did that for, I don't know, 8 years and 9 businesses, jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. Nothing ever worked, right? Because I wasn't working it for long enough. Finally, going into the franchise, that was when I had that mindset of like, hey, you know what? Year 1, I have no idea. I really don't know what it's going to do, but it was a year 3 plan thing. Like, I think by year 3, I might be able to leave my job, blah, 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 blah. Turns out we got profitable in 2 months. So that was very helpful. That was just an incredible tangent, but hopefully valuable for you. Anyways, Emmanuel's doing well. And, basically he felt comfortable in moving forward. He's a very decisive guy. Emmanuel, those people that are just like, they're going to figure out a way to succeed no matter what. That's Emmanuel. He's like the kind of guy where it's like, and maybe you're like that, where you just the type of person where if you really put your mind to something, like you're going to make it work. That's Emmanuel. Just a great guy. I enjoy being around him. I enjoy his mindset. I enjoy his hustle, and he's super resourceful. But yeah, he's crushing it. We did a day in life video, visited some job sites. He shared some intimate details around his business and his numbers. And you can watch that video. Click the link here to watch that video. It's on the main YouTube channel. So if you go to the Tarek Johnson channel, you will see it. You know what? I don't think I can drop the link in right now. No, I can't. All right. So anyways, that's the video. And you can go to our website and grab the link as well. But if you just go to my channel and look at past videos by the most recent, you should be able to find it. Excuse me. I got to stop drinking carbonated energy drinks before I do this. And that's a picture of me and Emmanuel. He's awesome. He's here in Orlando, his territory. So him and I have hung out a few times. Great guy. Okay, let's jump to the franchise of the week. This is a franchise called Architect. I think this franchise is really cool. Definitely for the right person. So Architect Outdoor Living. We'll talk about what they do in a second. First location started in 1980. They've been franchising since 2014. They were acquired by Empower Brands back in 2021. They have 86 franchise units, basically a $60,000 franchise fee and a decreasing royalty as your revenue goes up. So the more you make in terms of sales, the lower you pay in royalty. The national marketing fee is 1.5%. Total investment, 120 to 140 grand. Another 7-year term. We talked about a 7-year term for a different franchise last week, which was, what franchise was that? I think it was Superior. Or was it FCI? Can't remember. Architect is the world's largest custom design builder of decks, screen porches, open porches, gazebos, hot tub enclosures. Very interesting, right? Patios, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, hardscapes, any outdoor living stuff, right? Most of your customers will be residential, but you can do projects for commercial buildings as well. And Architect will help the customer design the project if they're unsure of what they want, need, and they offer warranties that guarantee satisfaction. From my understanding in this business, you have massive support from corporate on the design side of it. So you don't have to be an expert at this area. But, some of you, you're like, hey, I'm interested in doing a franchise. My wife wants to be involved. We'd kind of do it together. And maybe you as the male or the husband is like, hey, I'm going to pretty much run the business, but my wife's great at like design stuff and, and maybe like talking to people or, and this could be an interesting business. Let's talk some numbers. It's going to be hard to see. And in order for me to really keep it all on the screen, it's not going to. So hopefully you got the email of this and you can go look at it in more detail. But basically, they combine multi-territory and single territory franchisees. The average sales of the reporting combined franchisees, 1.9 million. The median, 1.4 million. Lowest franchisee does 234,000. The highest performing franchisee, 8.5 million. For single territory franchisees, so there are 27 that reported for this FDD. Average sales, 1.5 million. The lowest performer, 234,000. Highest performer in a single territory, guys, did $5.3 million in a single territory. Guys, the startup costs for this business range. They're less than 150 grand. And to have a business that did 5 million, I mean, I get it that that's the top performer, but that's still wild. And it's still wild that the average sales, at least of the reporting, are 1.5 million at less than $150,000 of startup costs. Because there's plenty of people, there's hundreds, if not thousands of people this year that will open up retail-based franchises, food franchises that cost $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 to get open, and they'll do $1 million or 1.2 million in sales for triple, quadruple, or 5 times the startup cost. You don't have to be a math wizard to understand those numbers, right? And this is partially why, most of our clients buy service brands. Multi-territory franchisees. What are the numbers there? 16 reporting, 2.4 million in average sales. Lowest performer doing just over $1 million, 1.06. And the highest performer did 8.5 million. Okay, what are the benefits for the franchisees? Guys, high ticket sales. So the average contract price for the customer is a whopping $42,000. $42,000 for the average contract price. So basically, if you do 2 jobs a month and get to that point, you're doing $1 million, because $1 million a year is $83,333 in revenue. So 2 jobs, if you're at that average, 2 jobs, that's basically 80. Let's just call it 85 grand a month in sales. Pretty cool. There's large territories. One territory is up to 600,000 in population, which is much larger than your traditional home services franchise. By the way, as we're going through this, if you're interested in this specific brand, you want to find out, hey, are there any available in my area? Go to franchiseempire.com/check territory, and we will be able to find out for you if it's available, and help you with this process. And what other franchises are available, because maybe this one isn't. And then it's like, okay, well, what are my other options? And a lot of times what happens is people might come to us interested in a specific franchise, and then for whatever reason, they figure out that, what I initially liked actually isn't the right fit for me. I'm interested in something else. So it's good to have a backup plan. And we help, and we show you a bunch of different options that align with your goals. They have complementary affiliate brands. So Empower Brands also has outdoor lighting perspectives, conservative irrigation, and superior fence and rail under the same umbrella. We covered superior fence and rail in the last newsletter. So some people may become multi-brand franchisees, where maybe in your market you own an architect and a superior. Pretty cool. Could be interesting. All right. So, and then also no showroom. So most franchisees operate from their home, working typical 8 to 5 Monday through Friday hours. You may want to have an office or showroom in the future, but it's not a requirement. And then there's no construction experience necessary, right? They are looking for operators who are strong at sales and marketing, have great communication skills. You will rely on corporate to help with 3D renderings and designs of projects. So again, if you're interested, franchiseempire.com/check territory. Last but not least, previously known as the Franchise Empire Show, being rebranded as Zero to Profitable Franchise Podcast. We talk about some 7-figure franchise opportunities for 2025. Again, it's similar to this style, where we just dive into numbers of specific franchises and their business models. So go watch that. You can go watch it on YouTube, on our Franchise Empire YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to a podcast. Just look up either Franchise Empire Show or Zero Profitable Franchise Podcast, and one will come up. All right, guys. You guys have a wonderful new year, and I will see you next week.